Meteorologist Herb Stevens, a skiing weatherman, with a pattern overview for the period from February 4th through the 11th for SnoCountry.com. And as usual, this is brought to you by the fine folks at UVEX Sports with wonderful goggles and terrific helmets. And check them out online at uvex-sports.com. In the headlines, can we keep this pattern going? Because from the upper Midwest through most of the eastern United States, at least north of the Mason-Dixon line, the past couple of weeks have been wonderful in terms of building up base steps and opening up terrain and opening up natural snow trails. I'd like to see the snow spread southward to my friends in the central and southern Appalachians, and I think over the course of the next couple of weeks, that is liable to happen as the cold that is going to be focused in the northeast over the next week is going to start to spread out westward and down the stretch of the Appalachians, I believe, as we head toward the middle of the month. There is some limited snowfall to talk about in the near term. And Alberta Clippers spreading snow from northern Missouri into central Illinois, northern Indiana into Ohio. The snow's working its way across Lake Ontario. And it looks as though anywhere north of about Interstate 80, up through northern Pennsylvania, New York, and most of New England, there'll be a light snowfall over the next 24 hours, Wednesday into Thursday. Some places might get as much as 6 inches of snow up here in the mountains of northern New England. So the surfaces, which have been very soft of late, are going to get refreshed in those areas over the course of the next 24 hours. An upper-level shortwave trough at the jet stream level is driving the system eastward. The northern branch and the southern branch with this energy here are not going to get combined to produce a sizable storm on the East Coast, although this will deepen somewhat as the surface low gets out into the Gulf of Maine, and that might help enhance the snowfall amounts just a little bit in the White Mountains of New Hampshire and the mountains of Maine. You can see the cloud deck associated with this system. It's not very tall from north to south, stretching from the mid-Mississippi Valley into the northeast. You can see these cloud streets over Lake Superior in the Upper Peninsula as very cold air comes in behind this system and comes across what open water there is on Lake Superior. And the Upper Peninsula and parts of the Lower Peninsula, you can see the same effect here over from the waters of northern Lake Michigan. There's some light snow falling there, and that's going to keep the surfaces in Michigan refreshed in most locations over the next couple of days as well. I'm going to go ahead to Monday because Arctic high pressure is going to dominate Friday and Saturday. It's going to be chilly from the Midwest into the Northeast, not so much once you get south of the Mason-Dixon line. The core of the cold air is going to be up here. But when we go to Monday, another clipper is going to come down across the lakes. That'll probably happen Saturday and Sunday. By the time we get to Monday, we've got one area of low pressure with this inverted trough here in the eastern lakes, and another system with this bagginess in the isobars trying to get going off the mid-Atlantic coast. There will be light to moderate snow across a good part of the Northeast. Notice, though, with the initial storm passing north of Interstate 80, some milder air is going to work its way into southwestern Pennsylvania, and that's why there may be some mixed precipitation there at the outset. But then the southern system looks like as though it's going to take over, and that'll draw colder air down the Appalachians, and I think we'll see rain changing to snow down through Timberline and Winter Place and on down to Sugar and Beach in North Carolina. Meanwhile, the light snow will continue to fly up here in the Northeast, light to moderate snow, and this stuff's going to add up. Right now, it looks like a rather long duration event. It may not have the intense snow we've seen with the last two storms in the Northeast, but nevertheless, if you look at the GFS snowfall output for the next 7 days, it's suggesting, where you see these oranges, double-digit snow over the course of the next week or so, and the Canadians even more bullish from Elk Mountain up through Hunter Mountain and on to Jiminy Peak and on to Bromley and Stratton. We're talking about amounts perhaps cresting 20 inches over the next week. I think that's a little overdone, but what's important to see here is the path of the snow. Arctic waves, clippers, are going to move southeastward and get enhanced somewhat when they interact with the warmer waters of the Atlantic and move up into the Gulf of Maine. Notice there is some snow printed out down here in West Virginia, lighter amounts down into North Carolina. But over the course of the next 2 weeks, I think the snowfall down here is going to be a little more beefy because of some subtle change in the jet stream map. First of all, I want to take you through the next week to 10 days on the jet stream. There's a system here cresting the ridge in the west, and this is 5 days from now. This will be Monday, and here it is on Tuesday all the way over here in the east. The northern and southern branches are going to try and get together on this one, and that's why the snowfall is going to be enhanced in the northeast, I think, early next week. 7 days from now, there's the first system leaving. There's another one already trying to pivot eastward. So late next week, the week of, let's see, that'll be February 9th, we could have yet another snow event in the eastern half of the country without too much difficulty, as the Western Ridge Eastern Trough regime, the positive PNA, remains in place. The Canadian ensembles suggest that 10 days from now it'll be pretty darn cold over the eastern third of the country. But notice with the flatter ridge out here in the southwest, the El Nino might allow some energy to start breaking through in the southern branch of the jet. And if that happens, it just enhances the risk that we get a more significant storm in the east, perhaps one that can bring that snow with the cold air further down to the south in the Appalachian Mountain chain. The jet stream 15 days from now, Western Ridge, Eastern Trough, that means packed powder and some new powder at times in the eastern half of the country. This I want to show you real quickly. This is a forecast based on water temperature analog years, and this is looking at February, March, and April temperatures and the anomalies expected. And notice the eastern half of the country is expected to be a little colder than normal, a possible exception of New England, where it could be near normal because of a blocking ridge actually migrating southwestward a bit. But the message from this particular forecast is it looks as though this season's going to have legs going through March and probably into April as well. So with all of that in mind, the Western Ridge Eastern Trough combination is holding strong. The Alberta Clippers will continue to roll eastward. Each and every one of them has a chance to blow up as it approaches the coast. The cold will spread west and south into the Midwest and down the Appalachians in week 2 and 3 as the trough axis shifts a little bit to the west. And as I just showed you, there's reason to believe that March is going to be a great month for skiing and riding in the Midwest and the East as well. That's the latest discussion from the Skiing Weatherman for SnoCountry.com. Brought to you by UVEX Sports. Enjoy your sliding, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care.